Hello and welcome to Hollywood Echoes, and in today's video we will explore the fascinating world of Hollywood's biggest smokers. In Hollywood's golden age, smoking wasn't just a habit, it was part of a star-studded lifestyle. How did the smoking habits of these legendary figures shape their iconic personalities? Join us as we dive into their stories and discover how these stars left their mark on both cinema and popular culture. Let's get started, because this is definitely a topic not to be forgotten. Humphrey Bogart was one of the biggest stars of the 1940s and 50s, a legend whose name became synonymous with tough guy roles, noir films, and the quintessential Hollywood leading man. His on-screen presence was magnetic, with his deep voice and rugged demeanor captivating audiences worldwide. But beyond his acting, there was another trait that became as iconic as his characters: his cigarette. Bogart's love for smoking became so prominent that it was often hard to separate the man from the habit. On film sets, he was rarely seen without a cigarette in hand, and this was reflected in many of his roles. In Casablanca, The Maltese Falcon, and countless other films, his characters were almost always seen with a cigarette dangling from their lips. The act of smoking became a symbol of his cool, detached persona, his way of showing strength, defiance, and control in even the most intense situations. Off-screen, Bogart's smoking was just as persistent, with the habit contributing to the health issues that would plague him later in life. In a time when Hollywood was shaping the image of what it meant to be a leading man, Bogart's affinity for smoking became a signature part of his brand. His portrayal of cynical, complex characters, always with a cigarette in hand, left a lasting impact on Hollywood's portrayal of masculinity. Though his life was cut short by cancer, Humphrey Bogart remains a cultural icon, and the image of him with a cigarette is forever etched in the minds of film lovers everywhere. Warren Beatty was not only a celebrated actor, but also a highly regarded director in Hollywood. He became one of the most iconic figures of his time, admired for his charm, talent, and dedication to his craft. His involvement in films like Bonnie and Clyde and Shampoo earned him widespread recognition and numerous accolades, solidifying his place as a Hollywood legend. But alongside his successful career, Beatty's image was also closely tied to his personal habits, particularly his smoking. Beatty's affinity for smoking was often captured both on-screen and off-screen, becoming a defining feature of his persona. Whether playing a suave character or a complex anti-hero, the sight of him holding a cigarette added to his charismatic, larger-than-life presence. His smoking was not just a habit, but an extension of the allure that surrounded him. It became part of his identity, reinforcing his image as a Hollywood heartthrob and a man of mystery, captivating audiences with each flick of his cigarette. As his career flourished, so did his role as a cultural figure in the industry. His smoking habit was intertwined with his reputation as a powerful force in Hollywood, whether he was lighting up between takes or seen on screen in dramatic moments, puffing away in a fit of contemplation or intensity. Despite the rise of anti-smoking sentiment in Hollywood in later years, Beatty's image as the smoking, enigmatic star remained undiminished. His enduring legacy, marked by both his talent and his smoking, leaves an indelible mark on the history of film. James Dean's life was tragically short, but his impact on Hollywood and popular culture was nothing less than monumental. With his raw, emotional performances in films like Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden, Dean became an icon of youthful rebellion and angst. His ability to portray inner turmoil and vulnerability resonated deeply with audiences, making him one of the most beloved figures in cinema history. But beyond his acting prowess, James Dean was also known for a habit that was often part of his image: smoking. Dean's relationship with smoking became almost as iconic as his roles. Whether on-screen or off, a cigarette was almost always in his hand, contributing to the image of the brooding, misunderstood young man he portrayed so perfectly. His characters were often seen struggling with societal expectations, and the act of smoking became a symbolic gesture, a way of asserting independence and rebellion. It was as though the cigarette in his hand reflected the inner turmoil of the characters he portrayed and his own personal battles off-screen. Dean's smoking habit, like many aspects of his life, was emblematic of the larger-than-life persona he projected. Even in his brief time in Hollywood, he managed to leave an indelible mark on the industry, and his smoking became an enduring symbol of his troubled but captivating persona. Tragically, Dean's life was cut short in a car accident at the age of 24, leaving fans and the industry to wonder what might have been. Nevertheless, James Dean's legacy continues to live on, both as an actor and as the embodiment of youthful defiance, with his cigarettes forever part of the myth surrounding his short but unforgettable life. Cary Grant was one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, known for his dashing good looks, charm, and versatility. As the leading man in many of the era's most iconic romantic comedies, including The Philadelphia Story and His Girl Friday, Grant's sophisticated image was synonymous with elegance and style. However, there was another aspect of his persona that became just as iconic: his love for smoking. Grant's characters often appeared with a cigarette in hand, adding to his suave, debonair charm and making smoking a key part of his cinematic identity. Whether on screen or in real life, Grant's smoking habit was a significant part of his allure. In his films, the sight of him lighting up a cigarette was often paired with his effortlessly smooth demeanor, creating a sense of cool, calm confidence. His characters were often witty, charming, and just a little bit mischievous, and the cigarette became an extension of that personality, enhancing his suave image. Smoking seemed to underscore his effortless charm and reinforced his status as a Hollywood leading man. Off-screen, Grant's smoking became a familiar part of his public image. He was rarely seen without a cigarette, which became a signature feature of his sophisticated style. Despite the growing awareness of the dangers of smoking, Grant's habit remained firmly associated with his glamorous and refined image. His smoking not only solidified his on-screen persona, but also became a part of his legacy as one of Hollywood's most enduring icons. Bette Davis was one of the most formidable and influential actresses in Hollywood's golden age, known for her fierce talent and captivating screen presence. Her roles in films such as All About Eve and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane showcased her ability to portray complex, strong-willed women, earning her numerous accolades and solidifying her status as a cinematic legend. But alongside her acting brilliance, Davis was also known for another defining feature: her smoking. For Davis, smoking wasn't just a habit, it was an integral part of her image, contributing to her charismatic, no-nonsense persona. On screen, her characters were often strong, intense, and fiercely independent, and the cigarette was a constant companion to these traits. The act of smoking became synonymous with her bold, dramatic roles, a visual marker of her character's inner power and resolve. Off-screen, Davis was frequently seen with a cigarette in hand, and her smoking became a symbol of her larger-than-life presence both in Hollywood and beyond. Davis's smoking habit was often depicted as a reflection of her tough, uncompromising nature. It was said that she even smoked between takes during her performances, a habit that became almost as famous as her legendary performances themselves. Her smoking, much like her acting, was unapologetic and intense, adding to the aura of authority and confidence that she exuded both on and off the screen. Despite the health risks associated with smoking, Davis's habit remained a constant throughout her career, and it became a key part of the enduring image she left behind. Frank Sinatra was a legend in both the music and film industries, known for his smooth voice, incredible talent, and charismatic presence. His career spanned decades, earning him the title of the chairman of the board and making him one of the most influential figures in American pop culture. Sinatra's image as a suave, cool, and effortlessly stylish man was perfectly complemented by his signature smoking habit, which became an inseparable part of his persona. On stage, Sinatra was rarely seen without a cigarette in hand. Whether performing his timeless hits or commanding the spotlight at a concert, he always had a cigarette dangling between his fingers, adding to the air of cool sophistication that defined his persona. His smoking habit became synonymous with his cool image, contributing to the aura of mystery and allure that surrounded him. Fans and critics alike admired his ability to effortlessly combine elegance with a sense of rebellion, and the cigarette was often seen as a visual extension of that combination. Off-screen, Sinatra's smoking was a reflection of his larger-than-life personality. He was often seen lighting up in photos, interviews, and behind-the-scenes moments, reinforcing his reputation as the ultimate cool guy. His smoking added to the image of the smooth, confident, and sometimes controversial figure who dominated both the entertainment and social scenes. Even as smoking became less fashionable in later years, Sinatra's image remained tied to the habit, cementing his legacy as one of Hollywood's most iconic stars. Marlon Brando is widely regarded as one of the greatest actors in the history of cinema. Known for his raw talent and groundbreaking performances, Brando reshaped Hollywood with his method-acting style and transformative roles. His portrayal of Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire and Vito Corleone in The Godfather are considered legendary, but alongside his groundbreaking acting, Brando's smoking habit became a defining part of his persona. On set, Brando was often seen with a cigarette in hand, his natural, unpolished style perfectly complemented by the constant presence of smoke. Unlike the polished, glamorous stars of his time, Brando's effortless coolness made smoking feel like a genuine extension of his rugged, anti-establishment image. The cigarette was never just a prop for him, it was part of his deeply authentic presence. In scenes, it was not uncommon to see him light up mid-performance, adding an air of nonchalance to his characters. Off-screen, Brando's smoking reflected his rebellious nature. He was never one to conform to Hollywood standards, and his smoking became a symbol of his rejection of the industry's conventions. It was as if the cigarette in his hand represented his disdain for the pressures and expectations placed on him, further solidifying his reputation as an iconoclast. Brando's smoking, much like his acting, was raw and unapologetic, contributing to the enduring mystique that continues to surround him today. Elizabeth Taylor was one of the most iconic stars in Hollywood's golden age, known for her stunning beauty, remarkable talent, and unforgettable roles in films like Cleopatra and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Taylor's allure extended far beyond her on-screen performances. Her life off-camera was equally captivating, marked by her glamorous lifestyle, high-profile marriages, and enduring public persona. Among the many aspects of her image, one that stood out was her smoking habit, which became deeply intertwined with her status as a Hollywood legend. For Taylor, smoking was more than just a habit. It was a symbol of her elegance and sophistication. She was often seen with a cigarette in hand, whether attending glamorous events or appearing in films, and the image of the cigarette added to her air of luxury. Smoking for Taylor wasn't just about personal enjoyment. It became part of her overall persona, a status symbol that emphasized her high-class, glamorous image. In an era when Hollywood stars were expected to maintain a carefully curated appearance, Taylor's smoking became a defiant statement of her indulgent, larger-than-life lifestyle. Her smoking habit also mirrored her complex, passionate nature. Known for her dramatic personal life and fiery relationships, the cigarette was a perfect visual representation of her bold, unapologetic spirit. It was impossible to separate Taylor's public image from her smoking, as it became an inseparable part of her mystique and charm. Even as the dangers of smoking became more widely known, Taylor continued her habit, maintaining her place as one of Hollywood's most enduring figures. Johnny Depp, one of Hollywood's most enigmatic and beloved stars, has carved out a unique place in the entertainment industry with his eccentric roles and deeply layered performances. Known for his portrayals of quirky and often rebellious characters, such as Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, Depp's image has always been closely tied to his offbeat rock star persona. Among the many traits that defined his public image, his smoking habit became a prominent part of his on-screen and off-screen identity, blending seamlessly with his rebellious and charismatic allure. In nearly every film Depp starred in, smoking became an essential part of his characters. Whether playing a pirate, a Mad Hatter, or a journalist, the cigarette was often in his hand, enhancing the gritty, defiant edge to his roles. Smoking became part of the rebellious, free-spirited characters he portrayed, further amplifying his bad boy image. Depp's smoking wasn't just a character trait, it was a visual cue that underlined his disdain for authority, his nonconformity, and his commitment to bringing a unique flair to each role. The act of lighting up seemed almost second nature to him, fitting perfectly with the chaotic and unpredictable nature of his characters. Off-screen, Depp's smoking habit further reinforced his cool persona. As a Hollywood outsider, he embraced the unconventional lifestyle, and his smoking became a symbol of his laid-back yet rebellious attitude. It was also a reflection of his public image as an artist, someone unafraid to take risks and challenge the norm. Though smoking has become increasingly stigmatized in modern society, Depp's signature habit remains an indelible part of his cinematic and cultural legacy. Jack Nicholson is one of the most iconic and influential actors in Hollywood history. Known for his diverse range of roles, from the menacing Joker in Batman to his chilling performance in The Shining, Nicholson's larger-than-life presence has captivated audiences for decades. His unpredictable, often wild behavior, both on and off-screen, became a defining feature of his persona. A key aspect of this larger-than-life image was his affinity for smoking, which was as much a part of his on-screen characters as it was of his real-life persona. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Nicholson became synonymous with smoking, often depicted with a cigarette in hand, exuding an air of defiance and coolness. His smoking was not just a casual habit, it became a symbol of his character's edge, his rebellion against the system, and his unapologetic approach to life. Whether playing a troubled doctor in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or a passionate lover in The Last Detail, the act of lighting up and taking a drag on a cigarette seemed to enhance the gritty, raw nature of his roles. It was almost as if his characters were fueled by the same recklessness and intensity that came with his smoking. Off-screen, Nicholson's smoking habit mirrored his public image as a free spirit and Hollywood's ultimate bad boy. He was often seen with a cigarette in hand, exuding an aura of mystery and invincibility. His smoking complemented his reputation as a risk-taker, someone who refused to conform to Hollywood's expectations. In a way, the cigarette became an extension of his larger-than-life personality, adding to the myth that surrounded him and cementing his status as a true Hollywood legend. And that's a wrap on Hollywood's biggest chain smokers. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into how smoking became a signature part of these stars' legacies. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Hollywood Echoes for more amazing content. Also, feel free to share your thoughts and any other famous Hollywood chain smokers in the comments below. Until next time, remember, there's always more to uncover in Hollywood's legendary stories. Take care and stay tuned.